Man, that was a vibe.
Was that
I'm
the
digging
police?
that. I have no idea. It was
Every
great.
little thing she does. It's magic. Here we are. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of To the Top Talk brought to you by Yingling Flight. To the Top
Yeah.
Talk is the original and longest running Southern Miss podcast in the market. We're recording this episode on Pilo
March the 4th.
from beautiful Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Here, as always, with your break from the high resource for propaganda to talk a little Southern Miss athletics. I'm your host, Jason Bailey. Joining me now, the one and only Patrick Lowry.
Hey.
Lowry. Mike Lowry.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So we won a basketball game. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
Feels great. Feels, I thought, and I don't know if you watched the whole thing or not, but it was almost turning out to be the same old story, right? Where you get down a little bit, you go on these like 5-6 minute scoring droughts,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately it kind of does you in. There's a call or two that doesn't go your way, and you lose by a point or two. That's happened quite a bit this year. Ironically, had to do it without Denaje Harris right there at the end. He fouls out with a few minutes to go and didn't play a good chunk of the back half of the second half
Mm-hmm.
because he got those 4 fouls. So yeah, man. But at the end of the day, Southern Miss is victorious over Coastal Carolina. So I thought we would just start off the show just talking about that game. So I'll open it up to you, Pilo. Your thoughts on the guys and how they played tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I did watch a good portion of the first half. Did not watch much of the second half.
Tied at halftime. We're tied at half.
Yep. But I kind of was keeping up with it. Looking at ESPN's kind of little tracker thing they do with their game cast. I mean, there were moments, if you kind of track the percentages of win probability, pretty early in that second half. I mean, Coastal's up in the 60, 70. And then it looks like about around the 2-minute mark, maybe, is where we kind of took the lead and took that back over. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I know those guys have worked hard, even in the losses. I don't think they were out there, not giving it everything. So, to get a win after so many in a row is exciting.
Here's I thought that if there's anything that we have, you have to play to your strengths, right? You have to go out there and you have to play to your strengths. It's hard to figure out what our strengths are a lot of the times, but I've said, and I know that you were with me right there at the beginning of the year when we were going through practices, and we're like, if there's anything we have, well, when Curbelo was there, we thought we had fantastic guard play and shooters.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, even with Curbelo out, that pretty much our only shots, just get in there, man, and let's just jack them up. And if they're going in, we're going to be tough to beat, right? Well, we did part of that tonight. We did get in there and jack them up. We did not make a lot. 6 of 25 from three-point range. That's, what is that, 24% there? So not great. Did shoot the ball well from the free throw line, 14 and 19 for 73%. A lot of those came in the second half when they're the most important. Played a lot of guys, but one guy in particular who probably without him we don't win this ball game. We might not even be in it at all. Alfred Worrell Jr. with a career night, I believe, 22 points in just 21 minutes of play. He goes 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 4 of 9 from three-point range, and 5 of 10 overall field goals. So, and not to mention, he also had a couple good defensive plays I remember one play on an inbounds where he kind of stole it away at the midcourt line. Played with a lot of passion, just, kind of had some Jeff Armstrong in him defensively there for a little while. Armstrong, another guy that got into the game, gave it everything he had. He had Gordon, played really hard, hit some really tough shots from that little spot that he loves around the free throw line.
Yep.
So Gordon ended up playing 34 minutes with 6 of 12. He shot a 3 for some reason, but he has 12 points, 8 rebounds, right? Denaje Harris, even fouling out, goes 12 and 7. I think if you're Coastal Carolina, that's what you're thinking to yourself. If we can keep Denaje out of the game, we don't let don't let somebody like Nefty go crazy. Don't let Watson get loose. Kobe didn't make a shot, I don't believe. So Coastal kind of did everything that they thought that they were going to have to do to win the game. And Alfred Worrell, honestly, just did not let that happen. So kudos to Big Al. I don't know if he goes Big Al. Is he Big Shot Al now? Do you go with that moniker?
I like it.
Big Shot Al. If he does it next game, I tell you what, all Southern Miss fans out there, whatever you were doing or whatever spot you were sitting in your house tonight, whatever you had for dinner.
Dodging tornadoes.
We might need another tornado to come through.
No, we don't.
I don't know if it didn't get terribly bad over here in Midtown, Pilo.
No, it wasn't bad. I think luckily
kind of broke apart a little bit.
Kind of broke apart, and then today it didn't really heat up as much as it was originally forecasted to. So it didn't really.
The wind beforehand,
it was crazy. Yeah,
was nuts. We had doors open in the backside of the house. You've seen my house, like the whole backside of the house, pretty much like a sliding glass door. So we had those open, and when I opened the very back one, the bedroom door just slammed shut.
Yeah,
scared my son. He's like, "What'd you do?" Like,
my brother-in-law that lives up in Starkville, they had a tree down. And it wasn't as bad there as it was here, but just the winds, they had a tree go down on their property. So yeah, it's crazy out there. Hope everybody was safe with all the crazy wind.
Yeah. And we did, before I forget, this episode is brought to you by Yingling Flight. Flight is a premium light beer brewed by DG Yingling and Son, the oldest brewery in America. 95 calories, only 2.6 grams of carbs, 4.2% ABV per 12-ounce serving. Crisp, clean, refreshing taste. Now available in 12-ounce slim cans and 16-ounce pints. So go get yourself some Yingling Flight today.
Love it.
I was planning on not having a Yingling Flight tonight, Pilo, because last night we had a little celebratory. The O'Briens are back in town, right? From Boston, just visiting, doing the Mardi Gras thing. So had a little cookout, and might have had one or two more than I should have. So wasn't planning on doing it, but then we won. I was like, when do you want to do the episode? And I think we agreed pretty quick. Let's just get on here and do it live. So had to crack open a celebratory Yingling Flight.
Yeah.
Just to do it. So that's fun. That is really fun winning basketball games. It's also really fun winning baseball games. We did some of that this past weekend. What happened since the last time that we recorded? We did travel to Fort Worth for a 3-game set with TCU, who was ranked in the top 25 along with us. Denaje Harris, Trinity Rowe, and Malaya Grayson have been honored for their season's effort by the Sun Belt Conference. And both the women and the men are competing, or were competing on the women's side in Pensacola for the Sun Belt Conference tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The women did lose earlier today, but the men pulled it out. Very cool. And as bad as the season has gone for Southern Miss basketball, or as disappointing as the season has been so far, who knows? We got to win 7 games in 7 days to make a run at this thing. But, you won today. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It would be really unlikely. I heard him talking about it on the broadcast, the pregame with Ladner. they were talking about having to do it. And he said, to win this thing, you got to win. The way it's set up now, you'd have to win 7 games in 7 days consecutively, which is a very tall task. And he said, you only have to win 6 games to win the national title. So you actually have to do a little bit more winning to come out on top in the Sun Belt Conference tournament in Pensacola.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Than you would. And then someone tweeted out after we won the game today. It was hilarious. They tweeted out, wish I remember who it was, so I can give them credit, but they said only 12 consecutive victories away from a natty.
That's all it takes. That's crazy.
We're in the conversation. So Southern Miss did have 3 players named to all Sun Belt Conference teams, and in some form or fashion. Nobody on the first team, which blows my mind with Najee Harris.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But Pilo, do you want to take us through those 3 players?
Yeah, I can, for sure. So kicking it off was Trinity Rowe. She was named Sun Belt Conference Freshman Player of the Year. 5th freshman with 212 points total and 7.1 per game. Next up, a name that we've all heard a lot with women's basketball, Malaya Grayson on the 2nd team, all Sun Belt. Southern Miss's all-time leader in games played, all-time Southern Miss leading scorer and rebounder of the year, 14 points, 14.3 points per game, averaging 8.4 rebounds per game. Conference ranked top 5 in points, rebounds, and blocks. Excuse me. And finally, Najee Harris named to the 2nd team All Sun Belt, which is a joke. Unbelievable. He didn't get first team. Serious consideration for Player of the Year. First Sun Belt player to average a double-digit points and rebounds since Artemis McCleary of Jacksonville during the 95-96 season. Although I did see Marshall people saying that the guy there did it last year. But he also didn't get first team. So
either way,
it's
a complete
very
snub.
rare. Harris finished the regular season averaging 16.9 points a game and 10.9 rebounds a game. Also finished the season with 17 double-doubles, which led the conference and ranked 5th in all of the NCAA. 47 blocks, which ranked him 2nd in blocks per game in the conference.
Yeah, that's borderline like Matt Wallner treatment back in the day. Remember that, where he's like first team All-American, but 2nd team, I guess, Conference USA at that point?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Solid. If you are just joining this live, this is the To the Top Talk live edition, talking Southern Miss athletics. You can check out our normal podcast anywhere you get podcasts on a weekly basis. And if you haven't done so yet, it's during baseball season now, but go over to the Collective site and check out all the interviews that we did with the newcomers on the baseball team, whether they're a freshman or portal guy, whatever it was. We did interviews with all those guys, and we were pretty proud of it. So go check out the Collective. And it's a good thing to do anyway, right? That's the way everything's going. Join the Collective. You can get in there real cheap. And you can see us do all these interviews, and they're really fun.
If that's not worth your money, I don't know what is.
Baseball, speaking of winning, baseball sitting at 9-3. I think, is that right? I think 9-3 is our record.
Yeah.
So we won 7 in a row, then we lost 3 in a row. Now we've won 2 in a row. That's right. It's 9-3. That's perfect. Okay. I took 2 of 3 on the road versus a top 25 team, and that was kind of a statement. I thought the game was in Fort Worth, Texas. The only game that we had played on the road until then was at Ole Miss, and we looked horrible, which didn't do anything right. Walked all those people. Somehow only lost 15-8. We talked about that on the last one. But game 1 versus TCU had a lot of people go. Looked like they had a good time. I know several of our buddies, Phil and Ryan and William and the Rogers family.
Mm-hmm.
They all went. Patrick McGee, the cool one, he was there. Anyway, it looked like it was really good weather and a neat atmosphere. If there was an atmosphere, it looked a little dead to me on the broadcast. I don't know about you, but I think that TCU either didn't really want to take the series seriously,
Mm-hmm.
or they just don't do it like we do it. And that's probably more so the case. I think you see Southern Miss. I mean, everybody knows that Southern Miss is good at baseball. You'd have to be living under a rock the last 20 years probably to not know that. But yeah, the place is just kind of dead, wasn't it? Really nice looking and all,
Yeah.
and just not a whole lot to it atmosphere wise. I didn't think, but still, you're wondering how we were going to perform with a lot of these young arms and only road test so far. We failed miserably. So moving into that, we didn't know it was going to go. We've already talked about we won 2 out of 3, but that game one, this was one of those 3 losses in a row that we had. We lost 5-2. Had some weird things happen, like the balk from Colby Allen, where he just kind of got in his windup and stubbed his cleat in the dirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. We didn't really hit the ball. And ironically, got to the TCU starter a little bit, but then that big lefty, Sloan, came in relief and just shoved it.
Yeah. Struggled with him.
Golly, he just looked unhittable after the
Yep.
first 2 batters. Southern Miss did lead 2-1 through 4 innings. TCU tied it up in the 5th, scored 2 more in the 6th and 1 in the 7th for the win. Hitting wise for Southern Miss, just 4 hits on the day. Nobody had multiple hits. We struck out 14 times. We're starting to kind of hit the panic button just a little bit, I think. You started off real hot and lost that third. You're sitting at 7-3, so I think anybody would have said, like, all right, well, first 10 games you go 7-3, will you take it? Sure. But winning 7 and then losing 3, that's no good. Especially
I didn't really envision that.
where we freak out about everything. But then you strike out 14 times, coming on the heels of walking all those times. You're like, all right, well, are we not going to pitch it good or hit it good, right? When we play good teams?
Yeah.
Ozzie Pratt doubled and Russo tripled. Those 2 guys, the whole lineup has participated, but I feel like they have been the most consistent all year long.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we got something out of not only striking out a whole bunch of times and only getting 4 hits, but those are 2 bright spots there. Pitching wise, JB Middleton looked fine to me. He wasn't razor sharp, but he was good enough. Just give him just a little bit of support, and I feel like he would have come out of there with a victory. But 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run. It was not earned, so he's not giving up an earned run this season. 2 walks and 6 Ks, 88 pitches. So that's probably getting towards danger zone a little bit, especially early in the season. But 4 innings is okay out of a starter these days. I feel like halfway through the season, you would probably give him a little bit longer leash. But you feel like when you have somebody like Colby Allen coming in behind him, that might make you say, you know what, 88, that's enough. Let's get him out of there. Then Colby comes in. Like I said, he had the weird balk. He didn't look sharp as he could look either. 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He is saddled with the loss and is 1-1 of the season now. But I really thought that the story of the game, outside of all the strikeouts that we had, but, well, kind of because of this guy, Braden Sloan was just unhittable in relief for TCU. And it's not like he threw 1,000,000 miles per hour. He had that crazy-ass changeup.
Right.
And just had us off balance the whole time. He goes 4 innings, 0 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks. The very first 2 batters that he faced, and then had 7 strikeouts on top of that. And I also thought that it should be noted because we need this guy to come out of it. We need this guy to play like everybody knows that he can, right? And that's Lawson Odom. He started at catcher, and I feel like he's a great option back there, one of the better ones in the league. He's too good of a player to struggle like he is, but he had a bad day. He's threw one in the center field, had a couple pass balls. He's probably in his own head a little bit. And this is not calling out anybody. This is just calling it like we see it. And we see a player that has all of the ability in the world. He just needs to figure it out, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Slade got benched last year at one point, right?
Yeah.
Probably we didn't think Slade could hit, but I think everybody knew that Slade probably needed to sit at that moment. Who knows? Same type of thing could happen with Odom here. The good news is that Stockman has kind of jumped right in there, and maybe about the time that Stock maybe needs a little break, Odom can find it again. That's the good thing about this team, though. No matter where you are, Seth Smith's been playing third base. Dre Barrett started the year there, right? You've seen Cook in center field. You've seen Urban. You've seen Higdon in the outfield. So this is, again, I don't want to sound like I'm calling out Odom, but I do want to see him succeed, and I think that he has the ability to do it. And if we're going to be as good as we need to be to make a run at this thing, you're going to have more than one catcher. So hoping that Odom can get back some of that fall magic that he had where he crushed the ball. So anyway, get us caught up on game 2, Pilo.
Yeah, so game 2 finally ended that streak there. So we won this one 5-3, hit 3 more solo shots. It's kind of becoming a trend. So that makes 7 homers in a row that were solo. Wow. And we got another good outing out of Cross Sibley. Kind of made it a little more interesting in the ninth than it should have been, but we led 5-1 in the bottom of the ninth and ended up winning 5-3. Hitting wise, Gillespie, Pato, and Nicky Ballgame all hit solo shots. Pato and Monastery go back to back in the 8th. That was fun. Urban, a productive day out of the leadoff spot, goes 1 for 2 and also has 2 walks. Pato goes 2 for 5. Cook 2 for 4, and Ozzie Pratt with 2 sacrifices, 2 sac flies for 2 RBIs. Pitching wise, again, Cross was fantastic. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 1 K, 85 pitches. Ock comes in after him, pitches 1 1/3, walks 3, gave up a couple of hits and runs, but he battled. Looked didn't really get too shook out there. And then Payton comes in and gets the last 2 outs on 6 pitches with a strikeout. So
Payne's he had a little hiccup there, but boy, when he's looked good, he's looked really good. What is this comment by Robert?
Yeah, I think he's referring to Trump live right now.
Oh, so, Trump's live.
Yeah, okay. He's talking, I guess, for the first time officially since he's taken office.
Well, Robert, clearly you have your priorities right if you have us on.
Yeah,
watch a little Golden Eagle basketball, then jump on to the Top Talk Live.
Yeah.
It's probably more entertaining. I don't know. Trump can be pretty entertaining.
This is true.
As well, one way or the other. One way or the other. But
also, what's going on with the SEC tonight? I know we don't talk that, but in baseball, looking at D1 baseball, Dallas Baptist, which we know is a good team. Glad we're not playing them this year. They just went they hosted Oklahoma and just shut them out 11-0 tonight. And Oklahoma is number 13. UTSA is currently up 7-3 over A&M, and A&M's I know has struggled as of late. UCF just won 13-3 over number 7 Florida. And North Dakota State is currently up against LSU at LSU.
North Dakota State. Is that the Jackrabbits? Or is that South Dakota?
No, that's South Dakota. North Dakota is like the Ram or the one.
Bison, maybe? The green team?
It's really both good football. But yeah, North Dakota State is up 9-7.
What about what happened with Alabama and Jacksonville State? I had that on earlier.
Alabama won. Yeah, they won 11-1. So Alabama did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I brought it up.
Took care of Monroe.
I think it was tied at 1 when I was watching.
Yeah, they kind of exploded. Everybody else kind of took care of business, but man, there's a lot of those teams. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Eagles are supposed to be playing tonight as well. with the weather, it got pushed to tomorrow night. So
Hey, before we get into this game three,
yeah,
or as I start talking about game three, can you look up the Sun Belt um, tournament schedule,
yeah,
and so we can find out when we're.
basketball schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Assuming we're going to do that, but as far as game three goes, we know that we won this series. Obviously, we won game three. We can just go ahead and call this the bowl game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bowl game. Matt Russo, he just went off. It was an 11-3 victory over TCU. Got some good relief work out of a couple of freshman arms. Now, hitting wise, so 2 Golden Eagles with multiple hits, Pato and Russo. Pato goes 2 for 5 with a homer. Russo goes 3 for 4 with 2 homers, a double, 3 runs, 5 RBIs, and a walk.
And I have a day.
I mean, oh my goodness! Sudden Miss was only 6 strikeouts on the day. So we started off our series. We struck out a bunch against Ole Miss, and we struck out that first game versus TCU. And then we kind of got our act together and hit it a lot better, and only struck out 6 times and only left 5 runners on base. That's a recipe for winning. If you don't strike out a whole lot, you get on base a whole lot, and when you do get on base, you really don't leave them on there. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Because you're always going to leave somebody on base. I think it's if you're getting a lot of people on, there's 3 outs and people get left. But pitching wise, Matt Adams got the start. I thought he did fine. Right, he does what you need to do. It was really really windy day. The wind was blowing in, and nobody but Russo could hit a homer.
Well, that first one, when he hit more than 3 feet over the fence at any point in time.
Right,
it was an absolute laser beam. It wouldn't have mattered what the wind was doing.
Yeah. So Matt goes 4 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 0 walks, 1 K, but just pitch to contact, right? I think that's what you have to do. The only thing that can hurt you is walks, or if they hit you, they hit you. We got plenty of pitchers, but just don't give them anything free. Graydon Harris came in and followed suit. He goes an inning and a third, 1 hit, 0 runs, and then Brooks Willoughby. Have yourself a day. 3 innings pitched. 1 hit, 0 runs. So he kind of did his own impression of Sloan.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. The later those games got in those innings, the smaller that strike zone tended. We were really getting squeezed there late in the game. If you were watching,
no doubt,
I was screaming at the TV that that's a strike. And like over and over and over. I don't know why that happens, but it's kind of infuriating.
So, thoughts on the TCU series? And if anybody out there would like to, before you do that, if anybody out there would like to comment, you can do like Robert did, and you can comment with a text, write in or whatever, or you can also jump into the Twitter space and request to get on live with us. And some of you people that made the trip or just watched it on TV like we did, what'd you think about it? What'd you think about the series? What'd you think about that day that Russo had? And or if you have any thoughts on JB so far, not giving up a run this entire season, that's pretty cool. Brooks Willoughby going 3 innings. There's so many bright spots. The basketball game tonight. It's very rare, Pilo, that we have more than one bright spot. We got a bunch of bright spots right now. So get in here and let us know your thoughts on that, either with your voice or just typing it out.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the recap video that they posted. Did you see that? Did you watch that?
I started to watch it. I got like 2 minutes in, and that's just my attention span, I think.
Yeah.
It was like 4.5 minutes long. And I was like, this is really neat, but I get it. I like it a whole lot. There's 2 more minutes of my life that are probably not going to be devoted to this. That's where I got with it.
Well, that's
sorry. I know that's your world.
And yeah, it was beautifully done. And
every one of those that you put out, I don't care if it's 10 minutes, Pilo. I'll watch every second.
Yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, anyway, it was really well done. But at the beginning of that video, you should have seen this part. They had the I guess that was a TV guy for TCU or something, basically saying that people don't come in to TCU and win a series. Like you may win
Mhm.
eight. Um, that's a good team. I think they're going to be. I mean, you just look at the wall, all the numbers that they had out there for the conference championships, the regional appearances. Like
Yeah.
obviously, you can tell that's a great program, and so
I
I think
wish we
it's one
had
of
that.
those.
Was that you that brought that up? That might have been Reagan. But I think he brought that up. Having, we wish that we had numbers like that, or dates like that, because it is
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
yeah,
You look out there, you're like, damn, they've been good for a minute.
yeah. No, it would be really good. I mean, especially the amount of conference championships we've won, and obviously regional appearances as of late. It would be. Um, I mean, I know it's like on the tradition of excellence billboard, but yeah, it would be way more fun on the wall.
Sure.
And this is just me. I know this is a money thing, but I really don't like the advertisements on the wall. I wish we would get away from that. Um, I would love to go to a simpler, cleaner wall and then put numbers out there. So I'm all in for that.
Hey, I'll tell
And
you.
from right field, from the right field wall, from center field to the right field wall needs to be chain link anyway. Um, Needs to be see through with padding, like the Braves do or Auburn does. Um, it
Yeah,
needs
they
to
don't have any
happen.
money. Braves, Auburn,
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
Hey,
but
I'll tell you a funny story about the padding on the outfield wall. It was funny to me. This was years and years ago. We were sitting, my dad, myself, and my uncle
mm-hmm,
are sitting down that right field line, and my uncle gets up to go to the bathroom. And when he comes back, like, something happened in the middle of that. I think maybe it was Jeff Cook, like hit a ball off of the right center field wall. Anyway, he comes back and he heard all the commotion. We scored a couple runs. Think we might have taken the lead, whatever happened. And he says, wow, I heard all that. Like, what happened? I said, well, Cook hit one off the wall in right center. He goes, where at? I said, right there off the WDAM sign. And he goes, well, damn. It was one of the, it was a funny
I mean,
moment to
it
me.
works.
Yeah. That was so cool. Anyway, thoughts on the TCU series? It's great to win 2 out of 3 on the road ever. It's great to win a series. Baseball's
Yeah,
hard, but to win on the road is even harder. And then to win on the road versus a team that's probably going to be one of the 64, that's a kind of a statement, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all know how good this team is and has been for the Pete, but you also have to win in hostile environments, and you're going to have to probably go somewhere at some point in the postseason into an environment and win some games. And so it was good to do that, and also to kind of trend the other direction. I don't like losing. Period. Definitely don't like losing multiple in a row. And I know the guys in the locker room surely don't, and Coach Oz doesn't. So kind of getting that corrected. And then also like a game 3, I love that. Like I don't like to lose one early, but like to have to really show up and be like, are we going to win this? Or are we going to, are we going to lose the series? And so the way the guys battled and how the bats were on Sunday was definitely encouraging.
It's really encouraging to do that. So that's what good teams do on
Mm-hmm.
Sundays. You beat up the Sunday pitching.
Yep.
And I know we lost last Sunday to La Tech, but to be able to do that on the road is pretty impressive. And La Tech did it to us, but they still didn't win the series, right? I think that's the difference there. But and looking back on it, honestly, with all the weird stuff that happened on Friday and how poorly we played and threw some balls away and
Yeah, it was sloppy.
had
Sloppy.
a balk and struck out all those times.
Mm-hmm.
If you just don't do some of those things, you probably sweep. Like honestly, we probably should have swept. Looking
Yeah, I
back
mean,
on it.
there were definitely moments in that game, even as sloppy as it was, we were never really out of it.
Mm-mm.
So you're right.
Not at all. College baseball rankings. We are
Mm-hmm.
in some of those now. I had to throw this back in there. We had kind of gotten away from it. Well, there hadn't been any reason to with basketball for the longest time. But love it. Even this year with baseball so far, there hasn't been just a ton of reasons to put it in here because we're getting snubbed, I thought, for the most part. But in the baseball rankings, in ESPN, we're number 20. That is up from 22 last week.
Mm-hmm.
D1 baseball is the same. We're at number 20, up from number 22 last week. Baseball America, we were not previously ranked, and they put us all the way up to number 24. And the coaches poll up from number 23 to number 22 this week. So basically, that 20 to 22 range is kind of where we are. But at least it's a consensus at this point. Baseball America finally jumped on board. I thought it was important to point out our RPI, even though it's way early in the season and RPI changes so much. But our RPI currently sits at number 41.
It's number 20. It's number 27 now.
27. Wow, fantastic. Well, look these up and make sure I got these right. I did this earlier this morning. So, UNC Wilmington is a team coming up on our schedule. I have them at number 36. Where are they at? Your land?
38.
Okay. And what about University of Texas Rio Grande Valley? Is that right? UT RGV? I have them number 8.
UT
RGV.
Number 8?
Mm-hmm.
UTRGV. I have them at number 199.
Well, that must be okay. Anyway, that's weird in one day, but that shows you how much that it can fluctuate, I guess. But the point is, we have some teams coming up that we probably need to go ahead.
I'm looking at. Oh, okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
I could be looking at 20. Hold on, I think I was looking at 2024. Yeah, that has something to do with it. I think that was 2024.
Just
yeah. So UT RGV is sitting at number 6.
Okay, so they're up to number 6. Yep. Way better than 190.
And we are 34.
Oh, great. So we've improved too.
Mm-hmm. And what was the other one you wanted me to look at?
UNC Wilmington.
Yeah. UNCW.
Mm-hmm.
They're at 42.
Okay. Those are all 3 good. But the point is that with wins with playing teams like TCU, which everybody knows about. But mm-hmm. I guess the point I wanted to get across is that when you see UNC Wilmington show up on the schedule, and you're like, you guys, why are you playing them? Well, this is why. They're good, right? Yeah. They've got a high RPI. It's all about that RPI at the end of the season. I wonder if you can make the argument, winning is great. But if they were to take one from us, how would that affect our? Would that help? It's weird to even think about. But if you sweep them, is that worse RPI wise? Better record wise?
I guess it depends on what they do after us, right?
Yeah, and what teams do that they have played. Right, everything mixes together. Similar, in this humongous matrix. But regardless, there's some high RPI teams coming up on the schedule shortly that people do not need to take unseriously because they don't know who they are. UNC Wilmington is not a household name. I'm not positive that I'm even getting the name right on the other one. University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. I think I am, but maybe not. But they can play as well. I think they beat Texas earlier this year already. So look out for those guys. And some more winning is 3 teams in one episode that have all been winning. Is that possible? Softball is sitting at 7-12, but they have won 2 games in a row, unless they play tonight. I didn't know about it. the Black and Gold Challenge was here in Hattiesburg over the weekend. So we
Mm-hmm.
lost to Jacksonville 4-0, beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 4-0, lost to Jack 4-2, beat Lamar 5-4, and then beat Jacksonville State in a little bit of revenge 3-1. So we
Nice.
have 1, 2 in a row. Maddie Weeks is kind of the only bright spot offensively for the Lady Eagles so far. She's hitting .340, 2 home runs. So she leads the team in hits, homers, RBIs, total bases, average, and slugging.
Wow.
Yeah, she's our Matt Wallner. The team average is still really low at just 215. So
But
other
we're
people
going in the right
need to do-
direction. It
yeah,
was
but
worse.
2 in a row. Yeah, and that average will come. It's early in the year. That's 1 weekend away from hitting like 220. So, pitching wise, Jana Lee leads the team with a 4.25 ERA. Is it Jana or Jana? I get it wrong.
Jana.
Jana Lee leads the team with a 4.25 ERA. The 3 pitchers that pitched the most, it's Lee. She's thrown 42.1 innings, 3-4 records. She has a complete game. Kayla Giardina has thrown 33 2/3 innings, 2-2, and she has a complete game. And Harrington has thrown 29 1/3, 2-4 record with 1 complete game there. Next up for the Lady Eagles, Southeastern Louisiana, Wednesday, so tomorrow, March the 5th at 6 p.m. at the Blade. Did you ever find out when the men are playing, when the men's basketball team's playing?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, when is it? Before I get to the rest
they
of this.
will play tomorrow at 5 p.m. against Georgia Southern.
Perfect.
And
right
then,
after work. That's fantastic.
Do we know who won between ULM and Louisiana, or is that happening right now? I think that's happening right now. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, you go ahead and pull it up. And back to this softball thing. So tomorrow, so it's 6 p.m. You can go out to the Blade and watch the ladies play Southeastern Louisiana. It might behoove you to hit up 4th Street Bar right next to the Blade at 5 o'clock. Watch the men's basketball team. It's not going to be over by 6 o'clock, but it'll be over by 7. So then you can make like the back half of that softball game right over there.
Yeah.
If it's nice weather, I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but if it's that's a possibility.
Cooler, but clear. Yeah, we're going to be fine for the rest. Well, really till Saturday, I think. So right now, UL Monroe and Louisiana Lafayette are playing right. So it is Lafayette is leading 33-28, and the winner of that game will play the late game against Old Dominion tomorrow. So we have the 5 o'clock game, and then Old Dominion will play the winner of Monroe and Lafayette. But we are at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay. Good deal. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Who knows? Let's.
And pretty much, if we keep winning, we will be at 5 o'clock every day. Moving ahead.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, 5, and if we make it to the quarterfinals, we will eventually play at 5:30. So they'll give us a little bit of a break.
Ooh, now we're talking
against Arkansas State. So yeah.
Oh man. I don't know. Like, it's probably going to be short-lived, but it does feel good to win a basketball game. It feels good not to just whimper out at the last moment, like we've done.
Yep.
So long. And it'd be. I'll take it a step further. It would be very easy for not only the players but the coaching staff to just mail it in. Ladner's not mailing it in. Juan's not mailing it in. Right? You can visibly see that. I don't know. I would not expect us to win many more games. It'd be nice to win another one, wouldn't it? But yeah. Isn't that kind of how you have to look at it? You just came into this, hey guys, look, nobody expects us to do anything. Let's win one, then screw it. Let's win another one. Then just go, one game at a time. That whole cliche, but it's really at this point, if you lose this, the further we go, if you let Southern Miss hang around towards the end of some games, the pressure's not on Southern Miss at that point, right? It's
Yeah.
damn, we don't want to lose these guys. They lost to Coastal and ULM this year. Right. So our advantage might be how bad we've been all year. That's a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. And so after tomorrow night at the Blade for softball, we just finished up with the Black and Gold Challenge or whatever it was. And so this weekend, it's the Golden Eagle Classic, March 7th and 8th. The teams playing in that
Running out of names.
North Dakota State, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Southern Miss. So they're, I guess, doing a little round robin thing there. But there will be 3 teams or 2 other teams besides us.
And the next week will be the Hub City Hubdinger.
Oh gosh, this is too good.
I mean, I would attend that.
Yeah, the Hub City Humdinger.
Hubdinger.
Hubdinger. Oh,
yeah, there we go.
I see what you did there. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. Again, if you're just joining this live to the Top Talk, it's a different show than a regular pod, but we do have a regular podcast that comes out every single week. This week will be this one. We decided just to go ahead and do it. We're both going to be in good moods, and the chances of that happening 2 days in a row at Southern Miss Land are, pretty much impossible. So we went ahead and did it tonight. But you can get our normal podcast anywhere that you normally get podcasts on a weekly basis. And remember to go ahead and check out our interviews that we did for To the Top Collective, because they were super fun. Like to also remind everybody that we have a title sponsor. It is Yingling Flight. Yingling Flight is available in 12-ounce slim cans and 16-ounce screw tops, along with the traditional 12-ounce cans and bottles at most retailers. Buy yourself some Yingling Flight today.
No doubt.
We'll get to a little bit more basketball stats and we'll get out of here, Pilo. You want to tell everybody, remind everybody how they can get merchandise? This is not one of our hats that I have on. This is from the Attack Eagles. I'm assuming he still has his merch site up, but it's pretty cool. We have some hats and shirts available too. So can you remind them how to go find that?
Yeah. Bonfire.com/store/to the top talk. We'll get you there. Or if you go to any of our social channels, we have a link tree and there's a direct link there if you don't feel like remembering that URL. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of baseball stuff.
Rally Cat shirts, Apo Taco.
Yep. Rocks, Kicks, Delivers.
There's like a drawing you did of the Pete, kind of. A pencil drawing type of.
Yeah, sketch.
Sketch. That's the word. And what about while we're on it, what about your Hub City Eats page? What's going on with that?
Yeah. Make sure you go check that out. I posted a story today. It was, had lunch at Strix. It was awesome. And it's that time of the year. I talked to them today. They are, doing crawfish again. So, starting Fridays at 5:00, not at lunch, and then all day Saturday until they run out, they're doing, crawfish hot. So, it's that time of the year. I kind of always get that craving for some crawfish. Yeah, go check it out. Hub City Eats on Instagram. It has all the Hattiesburg kind of foodie spots, and I usually get a lot of DMs. And had one the other day that was pretty cool. Robert. Hold on, make sure I get this right. Let's see. He was asking me. He said he had somebody in town and wanted to know the best place to get wings, and I was like, he's like, besides Fairley's Wings, because he already knew about Fairley's, and I was like, man, you got to go to this spot called Cow and Coops. It's over off of 42 and Petal, or Evelyn Gandy and Petal, and he ended up going and tagging me and putting it in a picture and said they were fantastic. So yeah, if you're looking for an eatery or someplace to go in Hattiesburg, check it out.
Very good. Let's see, what else do we have before we shut this thing down? I had some basketball stats pulled up here. I guess kind of. Well, we can run through a few of them. So on the men's side, the basketball side, just to show you how close we really are. Even though our record was bad, we mentioned that we had some heartbreaking loss, but so we averaged like right at 72 points a game. Opponents averaged 76. Pretty close, right? Field goal percentage for USM this year, our field goal percentage is .435. The opponent's field goal percentage for the season is .435. Okay, right there. 3 points made. We make 6.5. They make 7.5. Free throw percentage, we're at 69%. They're at 70 points, or right at 71%. Rebounds, we average 37.5. Opponents average 37.2. So I don't want to run through all of them, but you get the point, right? Blocks per game, we're at 4.3 and they're at 3.5. So the most important stat is in the win-loss column. I get that, but and I don't think we're ready to beat somebody like Arkansas State. I'm not saying that. But the rest of the league, I mean, it's possible. The numbers everybody's played everybody, right? So the numbers are the numbers, and we've got some guys, right? We had to do it tonight without Denaje Harris for a good portion. Here's how much he means to our team. He leads USM in scoring, minutes, field goals made, free throws made, rebounds, and blocks. 16.9 points, 10.9 rebounds per game. It's a stud. That's incredible numbers. Nefty, another huge part, 28 minutes a game. He finally made it through a season healthy, right? That's big. He has 100 assists on the season. That leads the team. 42 steals leads the team. These are all things that are going to help us if we're going to make any kind of run whatsoever. Kobe Montgomery leads the team in threes attempted at 147 and threes made 64. He didn't make a single shot tonight, and we won a game, right?
Yep.
2 of the 3 guys that I've mentioned so far did not live up to what they normally do, and we still came away with a victory. Gordon, same deal. He averages 8 a game. Watson averages 8 a game. Gordon also is at 31 blocks, and he probably would have more rebounds, except Denaje Harris gets all of them. So he is averaging 4.8 rebounds per game. So hopefully those guys can do some more of that tomorrow night, and we can get a victory. On the way out the door here, don't want to just throw this out, but in women's basketball news, Joy Lee McNillis was named Mississippi Woman of the Year by USA Today.
Yeah,
that's very good. They have a nice photo of it, and it's I'm sure we probably retweeted it when it came out. So congratulations to Coach Joy Lee McNillis, which she could have gone out on top, but not everybody gets to do that. Most of the time it does not go that way. Today, Pilo, if you can, do you have the golf notes pulled up just right before we get out of here? I know that the golf team, I think the women and the men, I believe, are both down in Puerto Rico at Palmas Athletic Club at the Palmas Del Mar, and round 1 was today. So if you have those, then
I was gonna give them a shout out. The ladies are currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard after round 1. They are tied with UNC Greensboro. Listen to this scoring. We had Louise Kyers. She shot a 69 to lead career low for her. Freshman fired her first second round under par this season after posting a 71 at the Judson back in October. She made 4 birdies, including a string of 3 over a 5-hole stretch on the back 9. Taylor Tribble shoots 72, so we have a 69, a 72. Alma Betterit shoots a 73. Momo shoots a 73, and then Elena shoots a 75. So pretty solid scores top to bottom there. that leads, that puts, as a team, we are in first. And other notables in this is like we said, Austin College, Central Arkansas, Memphis, Western Carolina, Ball State, Little Rock, Middle Tennessee, Wofford, and that UTGRV. They're in this one as well. I'm bringing up the rear. But yeah,
dude,
so
you can't say UT and then bringing up the rear like the same sentence.
yeah. Well, good start. 2 more rounds to go in Puerto Rico. Let's see.
What about the men?
So I think the men finished though.
Okay.
Yeah, that was on our last. We talked about that on our last pod. So the men
Okay.
ended up finishing second place overall down there. So
Great.
they are off until
the Seminole thing. Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good deal.
Overall.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Remind everybody, go to tothetopcollective.com. This is very important. You can join up. Membership is growing. And, it'll probably have another little growth spurt probably right there towards the beginning of football season, I would think. But made some major strides. If we can grow this thing the way we're growing it so far with a crappy football team,
Yep.
let the baseball team do their thing like we normally do, and then come in with Huff Daddy and take that collective just to take it to a level to where we're better than everybody else, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and
everything
I'm hearing too, ticket wise, is doing really well, football.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're used to waiting until July to renew your tickets, you might want to just go ahead and jump on that. Go ahead and get into that payment plan and get it knocked out. Because I know they're starting to really sell quickly. Obviously, 7 home games. It's a little bit different than in the past. So make sure you get your tickets.
Very good. What about shout-outs? You have any of those? Let's go ahead and get it. We're right at an hour. Perfect.
Yeah. I was going to give a shout out to the women's golf team, but you know what? We already did that. So I'll kick it over to you.
It's very good. Okay. I want to give a shout out to just a bunch of basketball people that I've been sitting next to. I've been following on Twitter. So people that I sit next to over in the G spot in section G, right around that row 5 area. Mr. Danny sits right there, the Huttos, Mr. Don, and Ken and his wife, and I'm forgetting a whole bunch of people probably, but all those people who sit there in every single game, we always kind of put a smile on our face and just grin and bear it, right? Through mostly the downs. I want to say the ups and the downs, but it's just been mostly downs. Tonight was cool. I hope everybody that I just mentioned got to watch the game and enjoyed it. And the Daw, he is. If you don't follow this guy on Twitter, he's the most optimistic, specifically for basketball, but all sports Southern Miss wise. But he is just he's having himself a good night. I can tell you that. If I'm having a pretty good night, I know that he's having a good night. So that's all the shout outs that I got. So I guess hit that music. Well, there it is. This episode was brought to you by the Premium Light Beer Yingling Flight. Established in 2020 by the oldest brewery in America. Crisp, clean, refreshing taste. 95 calories, only 2.6 grams of carbs. Pick yourself up some Yingling Flight today. That's it, Pilo. Thanks for listening in today, whatever day you might have listened, whichever platform you chose to listen in on. Remember, you can follow me, Ed Bumper J. Bailey, and Patrick at P. Lowry. Don't forget about the mailbag, to the top talk at gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss
to the top.
Talk.
Why are you mad?